To the world, she is America's sweetheart, the woman who made us laugh, made us cry, and made an entire generation believe in happily ever after. Jennifer Aniston seemed to have it all: beauty, talent, fame, and fortune. From her breakout role on Friends to her reinvention in powerful dramatic roles, her smile lit up screens across the globe. But behind that radiant smile was a woman quietly enduring unimaginable heartbreak. Now, at 56, the truth is surfacing, not through headlines or red carpets, but through the emotional cracks that fame can no longer hide. Jennifer Aniston's life, for all its glamour, has been marked by loneliness, betrayal, and relentless public judgment. She survived a painful childhood. She navigated the world's most talked-about divorce. She endured years of media obsession over her body, her womb, and her relationships. And just when the world thought she had finally found peace, tragedy struck again. The truth is that Jennifer Aniston has spent much of her life trying to hold herself together while the world watched her fall apart. This isn't the story of Hollywood's success. This is the heartbreaking story of what that success cost: the loss, the silence, the trauma behind the curtain, and the woman who kept smiling through it all. Because what Jennifer Aniston lived through is not what most fans were ever allowed to see. Long before the lights of Hollywood, before the fame of Friends, and before the media dubbed her America's sweetheart, Jennifer Aniston was just a little girl growing up in a home full of silence, sadness, and separation. Born in Sherman Oaks, California in 1969, Jennifer was the daughter of actor John Aniston and model Nancy Dow. On the surface, it may have seemed like a glamorous beginning. Two attractive parents, both in the entertainment industry. But inside the Aniston home, things were far from picture perfect. Jennifer was just 9 years old when her father walked out on the family, suddenly and without explanation. One day he was there and the next he was gone, vanishing from her life for over a year. The trauma of abandonment at such a tender age left Jennifer emotionally fractured. In later interviews, she admitted that it was the moment her sense of safety vanished. The man she admired simply disappeared, and that wound never fully healed. Her mother, Nancy Dow, was left to raise her, but even that relationship was deeply strained. Nancy, by Jennifer's own account, was critical, emotionally distant, and obsessed with appearances. "She was very critical of me," Jennifer once shared. "She was a model and very concerned about looking perfect. I didn't come out the model child she'd hoped for." The emotional distance between mother and daughter was devastating. Jennifer has described being made to feel not good enough, not pretty enough, not thin enough, messages that haunted her through adolescence and into adulthood. She struggled with self-worth, often retreating into drawing, acting, and performing as a way to escape the oppressive atmosphere at home. School wasn't much better. Jennifer had undiagnosed dyslexia until her 20s, which made learning difficult and her self-esteem plummet. She was often made to feel stupid without understanding why, but acting saved her. It became her outlet, her sanctuary. She found refuge in school plays and local theater, eventually enrolling at the Fiorello H. LaGuardia High School of Music and Art and Performing Arts in New York City, the real-life fame school. There, Jennifer finally began to feel seen and validated. Yet even as her talent began to blossom, the emotional damage from her early years lingered in the background, silently shaping her view of herself, her relationships, and the world. The pain with her mother would resurface decades later in the most public way possible. In 1999, Nancy Dow published a tell-all book, From Mother and Daughter to Friends, detailing their difficult relationship. Jennifer was blindsided, humiliated that her own mother would expose their private pain to the world. She later described the act as unforgivable, and they became estranged for nearly 15 years. "I was shocked. I couldn't believe she'd do that. It felt like a betrayal," Jennifer once confessed. Even in her adult years, even with fame and wealth, the old wounds from childhood never fully closed. Her father, though reconciled later in life, remained a distant figure for many years. Her mother, despite their eventual reunion, never gave her the emotional comfort she longed for. Behind every glamorous photo, every award acceptance speech, and every radiant red carpet appearance was a little girl who never stopped asking, Am I enough? It was the fairy tale Hollywood couldn't stop talking about. Two of the most beautiful, bankable stars in the world falling in love. When Jennifer Aniston married Brad Pitt in 2000, the world rejoiced. They were young, wildly successful, and seemed to embody everything fans dreamed of. But behind the flashbulbs and perfect magazine covers was a growing silence, a fracture that would soon become a national obsession. And when it shattered, Jennifer wasn't just heartbroken. She was publicly humiliated. For years, they had been the it couple. But by 2004, rumors swirled that Brad Pitt had grown distant while filming Mr. and Mrs. Smith with Angelina Jolie. Tabloids began spinning stories of flirtation, of long days on set that stretched into something more intimate. And then came the photos. Brad and Angelina holding hands, laughing like lovers, even before Jennifer and Brad had announced their separation. By January 2005, it was over. Brad and Jennifer released a joint statement, but no one was fooled. She had been blindsided. The public reaction was immediate and merciless. Jennifer, already vulnerable from her own childhood wounds, was suddenly at the center of a cultural storm. She became a punchline, a meme, the symbol of every woman who'd ever been left. People didn't sympathize. They speculated. Magazine covers screamed, "Poor Jen," as if her pain were entertainment. It was a death, she would later say. It was a deep, deep loss. But what made it worse was what followed. Just weeks after the divorce papers were filed, Brad and Angelina posed for a W magazine spread, styled as a 1960s suburban family, complete with children and kitchen scenes. The implication was clear. Brad had already moved on, and he was playing house with another woman. For Jennifer, it wasn't just painful, it was cruel. "There's a sensitivity chip missing," she said quietly, referring to her ex-husband. As Brad and Angelina became Hollywood's power couple, Jennifer became the subject of pity. Every interview she gave, every role she took, every public appearance was viewed through the lens of loss. Was she over it? Was she still crying? Was she trying to have a baby? Reporters poked, prodded, and invaded. Even when she tried to move on, the headlines dragged her back. She wasn't allowed to heal privately, because her heartbreak had become public property. Worse still, the media's obsession with her womb became relentless. Every tabloid claimed she was pregnant, trying for IVF, or devastated by infertility. The truth was far more personal, far more painful. In a later interview, Jennifer would reveal that she had indeed struggled behind closed doors, but chose not to share it with the world because it was nobody's business. Yet she was judged anyway. Called selfish, career-obsessed, cold. All because she didn't have children. What the world didn't see was the grief beneath the surface. The grief of a woman whose husband betrayed her, whose name became synonymous with rejection, and whose deepest heartbreaks were sold at newsstands for $3.99. Jennifer Aniston didn't just go through a divorce, she endured a global humiliation. And somehow, through all the noise, she kept working, kept smiling, kept showing up, but inside she was shattered. And the worst part? The world didn't want her to heal. They wanted her to stay broken, because that made a better story. Jennifer Aniston may be one of the most photographed women in the world. But behind the flash of the cameras and the perfect red carpet poses lies a woman who has lived most of her adult life with crushing anxiety. While the world watched her through glossy magazine covers and endless media cycles, few realized the truth. Jennifer was quietly falling apart. And no one seemed to care as long as she kept smiling. In interviews over the last few years, Jennifer has begun to open up about the emotional toll that fame, and especially public heartbreak, took on her psyche. She admitted to going through dark years, when the pain of constant judgment, lies in the press, and personal betrayals became unbearable. "There were moments," she said softly, "when I didn't want to get out of bed." She described panic attacks before events, crippling insomnia, and a deep fear that no matter what she did, it would never be enough, not for the public, not for Hollywood, and not even for herself. Her anxiety wasn't just emotional, it was physical. Friends have spoken of Jennifer collapsing into tears between takes, struggling to eat, losing sleep for days on end, and silently enduring emotional breakdowns masked by professional polish. In one heartbreaking revelation, she described filming a romantic scene just days after learning someone she trusted had betrayed her again, and how she had to smile through it, knowing the world would only see the performance, not the pain. If this story resonates with you, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more honest, faceless celebrity documentaries. And tell us in the comments, do you think Jennifer Aniston has been treated fairly by the public and the media? Your voice helps give these untold stories the respect they deserve. The pressure didn't stop with heartbreak or headlines. Jennifer became a symbol of unattainable perfection. Her haircuts became trends. Her body became the gold standard. Her face, her figure, her relationships, all dissected with surgical precision by strangers. And when she showed signs of aging, or dared to look tired or human, the same tabloids that built her up were quick to tear her down. "Too much Botox," they whispered. "She looks sad. Is she drinking?" They couldn't allow her to be real. She had to be Jennifer Aniston, flawless, happy, strong. But no one is that strong all the time. Even her closest friends have said that Jennifer's greatest flaw is how well she hides her pain. She doesn't like to ask for help. She doesn't like to cry in front of others. And she's always afraid of being a burden. So she suffers silently. The same way she did as a little girl in a tense home. The same way she did when her husband walked away. And the same way she does even now, when the spotlight still won't let go. In recent years, Jennifer has used her platform to speak more openly about mental health, not for sympathy, but to reclaim her narrative. To say, "I've struggled too." But the tragedy remains. While the world praised her strength, they never made space for her pain. And even now, at 56, the pressure hasn't lifted. The headlines have changed, the faces around her have aged, but the spotlight still burns just as hot. Because in Hollywood, it doesn't matter how much you've endured. It only matters how good you look doing it. And Jennifer Aniston has spent decades looking perfect, even when she was breaking.